Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday I picked up my son from school after his sports, and it occurred to me that there are a few things that I really hate, I guess, about cycling in Singapore. I'm going to go through this short video with you, and along the way I'll just point them out to you. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to say is there's inadequate bicycle parking for where I live, right? In my block of flats, there's 14 floors and at least 6 units per floor. But yet downstairs, what we see here is there's 4 lots right here, and earlier on 5 lots. So 9 lots of for bicycle parking. It's hardly adequate, isn't it? My neighbors have taken to parking their bicycles just outside the lift landing, as well as parking downstairs, anywhere they can find some space, along pipes and everything, which makes it very unsightly. And of course there are abandoned bicycles like this at Kembangan station, which is the MRT station closest to me. There's a high rate of bicycle ridership to the station that even the columns holding up the covered walkways are being used as parking spaces. The PCN is the second thing that I'm quite critical of. This is not well designed. You saw that very tiny and narrow space. Can you imagine pedestrians as well as cyclists both ways trying to get through there? And it's clearly marked as a PCN. Not to mention these upright columns again holding out covered walkways. Crossing the road, we see the third thing that I really hate: pedestrians on bike paths. I get it. This path is not particularly wide in the first place. So this guy who's training, he's just, having a little jog after or before his event, has to be on the walkway. So I don't make a fuss about it. I don't ring the bell, and I just overtake him when I can. Yeah. So crossing the road now, still on this very nicely painted bike path, we see Uncle. This is active mobility in action, right? That's clearly a electric bike, because this hill is pretty steep. So without the assist of the electric bicycle, Uncle would have to be pushing his bicycle up, as we've seen on the previous video of mine. So good on him, So abruptly this bicycle path ends, right? Just suddenly, and just becomes a normal footpath. So another pet peeve is our apparent cycling network is not really a network because it's not connected, right? These are just standalone paths built in the middle, in between intersections, right? And the government is so proud and says that we are building this how many kilometers, 190 kilometers of cycling paths by 2025. There are going to be so many 100 more kilometers, but there's no point to all this if all the paths don't actually connect or form a network, right? A network consists of segregated bike lanes and protected intersections. So we have some bike lanes, but they're not segregated, and we have no protected intersections whatsoever. Every time a bike lane comes to an intersection, you're on your own, right? There's no protection against motorists or pedestrians against cyclists. So continuing on the bike path, we come to another pet peeve of mine, and this is bike paths or cyclists having to go through bus stops. It is a safety hazard. This was filmed in Jalan Besar as I was traveling around. Many a time, right, we see cyclists having to go through bus stops, and it's just not the ideal situation. So speeding up our footage to cross the road, and the next point I want to say are curbs. So even though these curbs look quite smooth in the transition, but actually every curb that you go over is jarring. If you were in a car and in your journey of 2 kilometers you had to go over 100 speed bumps, that's what it kind of feels like. How would you like that if you have to cycle on the footpath and every curb you come to is a bump that jars you to your bones? In a short space of a couple of minutes, now we see another active mobility uncle on an electric bike. So the electric bike is not the enemy here, okay? It assists maybe older cyclists, right? Or mums carrying children on their bikes, and blocked pathways. Look at all those bins, blocked pathways. And here, okay, I'm giving way to pedestrians. They were very nice about it as well. More curbs, more blocked pathways, a sharp corner, but you know, no choice. Look at how narrow that road was. There was no way for me to be on the road. Now I'm trying to get out of the curb and I have to go onto the road. So this is a quiet neighborhood, so I took the chance to be on the road instead. Okay, coming up to my son's school, and here we see parents waiting for their children to finish their sports activities. And the end of my journey for that particular leg. Just waiting for my son outside his school. Here he comes, all sweaty. So we load up the front box on the bicycle, and I have to say that that seat that he was sitting on is purpose built, right? It's engineered and purpose built for that particular bicycle, for a person to be using as a seat. So I gave my son the camera and I said, you film our return journey back, do whatever you want, and let's see what the result of that is. Coming up to this junction, we see that there's electrical equipment as well as the walkway columns, as well as the traffic lights, all blocking that critical corner essentially. And we are back to our home ground, Kembangan, which is the end of our journey. So there, in this short video, I've just shared with you a few of the things that I really hate about cycling in Singapore. But by and large, cycling is still the best way to go in terms of trips within 5 kilometers within our homes. So I strongly encourage, if you can, try to use the bicycle as a mode of transport to get your daily activities done. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and try and subscribe if you like what I have to say, and see you again the next time Sonic travels. Peace.